Welcome to the Navigating Your Life show. I'm your host, Nat Williams. Tonight we're going to be touching upon the topic of codependency. To define codependency, Webster's dictionary describes it as a psychological condition or a relationship in which a person is controlled by another who is affected by a pathological condition such as drugs or alcohol. Recently, we had the opportunity to visit with Alex Roboy, a director from the Center for Growth in Philadelphia, and here's what happened.
So why don't you introduce yourself and explain a little bit about the facility you have here?
Sure. My name is Alex Roboy, and I founded the Center for Growth. We are a small organization that helps clients with anger problems, anxiety, depression, marriage counseling, and sex therapy.
And can you explain some of the treatments that you offer here, specifically relating to codependency?
Sure. Here at this organization, we provide treatment for people with codependency. We offer individual counseling and then some support groups, but primarily it's individual counseling and couples counseling.
And what are some of the challenges that you've found at the Center for Growth?
Well, specifically, the biggest challenge of working with someone who has codependency is helping them focus on themselves, really getting a sense of what are they feeling, what are they thinking, what are their own opinions, as opposed to fixing their partner. A lot of women that we see here are specifically coming because their husbands have a sex addiction and they're trying to fix their husband, as opposed to looking at their own behaviors and how they may be contributing to the problem or what they need to be doing for themselves to get well.
Do you have any specific success stories in mind that you can think of?
We have a lot of success stories, a lot of couples that come in, and it's stereotypically the man with the addiction and the woman with the codependency, but it's not always the case. But one couple I'm thinking of came in. I initially got the phone call from the wife saying, I just found out my husband has been abusing pornography on the internet. He's probably using it 5-10 hours a day. I don't know what to do. We have a most wonderful sex life. I'm always available, but often he prefers the internet. And both of them came in. We initially started doing work with each of them individually. We don't believe in doing couples counseling until some of the addiction piece is actually under control. The man was able to stop using the internet, stop using pornography, started really getting in touch with his own feelings, and the woman similarly learned how to set appropriate boundaries, saying no when it didn't feel comfortable, checking in with herself. And it was a huge success story, and they've continued on with their marriage, and no longer is the sexual area an issue. I mean, I'm sure it has its moments, but the addiction piece is really not there.
And do you have any advice for people who may be suffering with codependency?
The number one advice is to ask yourself the question, what makes me happy? Where do I want to be in the next year? Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? What do I want to do in the moment? And to stop putting energy into fixing other people. Just take maybe this much of your energy and focus on yourself. Here at the Center for Growth, we really believe that you can't help the couple until the individual gets to a place where they are able to listen or be present in the marriage. For example, if someone has a heroin addiction, an out-of-control sex addiction, the other person doesn't have a place to negotiate from, because really the mistress is the addiction. So often what you hear in couples counseling is, once you close all the exits, once you get rid of the affair, the mistresses, then you can turn to the marriage and put both feet in and be very focused. People who have codependency often present feeling worthless, low self-esteem, difficulty making their own decisions. In some ways, they're very misleading. They're your favorite friend because they always say, gosh, you gave me the best advice, the best answers. I'm so grateful for you. And they make everybody feel really good around themselves. And as a good friend, as a therapist, you really have to help this individual make up their own mind. You don't want to give any solutions. You don't want to give any advice. You really want to say, so how do you feel about this? What's your gut telling you? And you want to help redirect this person back to themselves.
And are there any upcoming events at the Center for Growth or anything in the future that you're planning for that you'd like to share with us?
Well, what we offer here at the Center for Growth is a sliding scale. We are very fortunate that we work not only with our regular staff members, but we have a training program for interns, and they're able to provide help for clients regardless of your income. So we're able to service a very wide population in a very safe environment. So if anyone ever wants to reach us or learn more about our organization, the best thing to do is to go online to therapyinphiladelphia.com. We have over 600 self-help tips written, so actually you don't even need to come in to see us or to get better from us, or you can actually make a phone call at 215-922-LOVE.
Thank you so much to Alex for allowing us to come in and visit at their facility. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by representatives from the Council on Alcohol and Drug Abuse, so please stay with us.
In these challenging times, your organization needs employees that maximize results. Funworks Training and Educational Services provides results-focused seminars for your staff. Topics include management and motivating employees, stress management, team building and leadership skills, and cultural diversity. Register today. Just $89.99 or $75 for chamber members. Call 484-893-5057 or visit hwtes.com.
It's about changing the world in which we live.
It's about playing, living, and working together.
It's about escaping from special programs.
It's about finding leadership
and social justice.
The Pennsylvania Developmental Disabilities Council believes that disability is a natural part of the human condition.
We are working to create a commonwealth where all people thrive in shared citizenship.
And everybody wins.
We'd like to take a minute to review the top resume tips for those currently seeking employment. Be targeted and personalized. In your cover letter, mention any contacts you have within the organization or those who have referred you. Clearly demonstrate your value. Craft your resume to highlight the specific experience and skill set that speaks to the needs of the employer. Ensure your cover and resume are error-free. Edit and double and triple check for grammatical and spelling mistakes. Stay formal and businesslike in all correspondence. Place your cover letter into the body of the email and attach your resume and work samples. Define your role on projects and their scope and scale. Be specific in your resume about your project involvement and role as a team member.
Ready for some fun? Funworks assists individuals with and without disabilities to participate in community activities. These activities are provided in small settings for 1 to 8 individuals with at least 1 to 2 direct support professionals. We visit places like Dollywood, Willow Valley Inn, Phillies Games, Iron Pigs Games, the Lehigh Valley Zoo, and more. Let us know your dream trip. Our staff is dedicated to ensuring your dream activities come true. For more information, call 888-966-9466 or visit funworksinc.org.
Well, welcome back. We're joined in studio now by Cynthia Moda. Good. Hello, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Good. So you are with the Council on Alcohol and Drug Abuse in Allentown, Pennsylvania?
Yes, I am.
So tell us about what the council does.
Well, we do many things. It's a drug and alcohol facility. It's an outpatient facility.
Okay.
And we help people
Well, let's just stop there for a second. When you say outpatient versus inpatient, just so our viewers understand, what's the difference between the two?
Well, outpatient means that they come to our facility and they're there for a few hours.
Okay.
If it's inpatient, that means that they're going to be there longer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going to sleep there. You know, room and board and things like that.
Okay.
So this is an outpatient facility.
So people are coming in for appointments and then leaving.
Yes,
okay, very
yes.
good. So please continue with what the council does.
We help people that have problems with drug and alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
We do group therapy. We do anger management, life skills, social skills. We do a little bit of everything.
Okay. And your goal is to try to do what for the individuals that are coming into your center?
To help them out as much as possible.
Okay.
Hopefully for them to become drug-free.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's our main purpose.
The focus of our show is on codependency. Could you describe to us what that means to the council, and how do you look at the definition of codependency?
Well, one of the one of the good things to know is that codependency is not a disease. You know, it's an emotional behavior, you know, condition, you know, that is learned. And if people are able to address those issues, it could be help without any doubt.
So in drugs and alcohol, how does codependency show up in drugs and alcohol?
In many different areas. With families. Codependency ruins relationships, healthy relationships. There's times that they have partners and they tend to pretty much try to fix the problem, the issues, not letting them help themselves pretty much, like doing too much.
So like the codependent person is not the person generally with the drug or alcohol problem.
Yes.
It's the other people around, a lot of times the significant others in their life, that they're codependent on the individual who has the challenge.
Exactly.
And when you say they're codependent, what do you mean by being codependent? What are they?
Well,
what is the mileage that they're getting out of being associated with the person who has the challenge?
Well, doing too much for the person, you know, not being able to let the person be. Pretty much a people pleaser, you know. Instead of letting them go and get help, you know, they tend to pretty much hide the problem, and that's a big issue. You know.
So in any situation, either you're part of the problem or part of the solution, and sometimes individuals who are codependent are more part of the problem than the solution for the person.
Exactly, exactly. They try to empower them, but the reality is when there's a codependency relationship, I mean, there's no empowerment.
True. So just so our viewers understand, could you just describe some of the typical behaviors of a codependent person? What are the kind of things that they do? Because sometimes people are codependent and they don't realize that they are.
Okay, doing too much. And being a people pleaser. And after you do too much, you feel really, really bad because you feel that people are not appreciating you. Not being able to really share and talk about your true feelings. You know, letting people pretty much control you, and not sharing your feelings, you know, your emotional overall. It's like not being a whole person, put it that way.
And would you say there's a lot of covering up that the codependent person does for the person with the challenge that they? Well, I'll let you finish.
Definitely, without any doubt. You know, without any doubt. A lot of covering up, a lot of you know, hush hush, you know, make sure that no one knows that there's an actual problem here, instead of facing it, you know.
And if you looked at codependency, is it a challenge for a certain part of the population, or do you have people that are young that are doing it, old that are doing it, men, women, mothers, fathers? Does it have the ability for any person to be part of this behavior, or does it have a target?
No, anybody can be codependent, and we have to be very careful. You know, we have to be very careful about that. Definitely, it can happen. I mean, you could be young, you could be old. You know, male, female. You know, codependency is codependency.
So how would a person know? What are some of the tests that you could go through in your own mind? How would you know that you may be a little or a lot codependent? What would be some of the questions that would be asked to help a person figure it out?
Do you feel guilty when people don't appreciate the things that you do for them? Do you do too much and forget about yourself? Are you not willing to share your opinions and your emotions because you're afraid that you're going to hurt other people's feelings? When you see other people in pain, do you feel that it's part of your fault, or that you have something to do with it? You know, things like that.
So there's a difference between being sensitive and being codependent.
Without any doubt. Yeah.
Wow. We're going to get ready to wrap up, but I want to give you a chance to share any closing thoughts that you may have with our viewers about the issue of codependency.
Well, like I was saying before, we have to keep in mind that codependency pretty much gets in the way of people having healthy relationships, and we have to be aware of our emotions and also of our behavior. you know, definitely.
Well, Cynthia shared with us that she's 9 months pregnant and ready to deliver.
Yes.
So hopefully by the time this show airs, you would have delivered. And
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
There you go. Congratulations. So
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Wish you the very best, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Nat.
We have to stop now for a brief commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with a psychologist to discuss the topic of codependency further. So please stay with us.
You choose your doctor, you choose your pharmacy. Why shouldn't you choose your in-home healthcare provider? The good news is you can and you should. When your hospital or doctor prescribes home care, Alan Lear Home Care Associates will work with you in the comfort of your own home, providing a full range of services. Our nurses are dedicated professionals that take the time to get to know you and help you return to your optimal health. Call Alan Lear Home Care Associates, caring for you when you need us most.
Explore Dr. Nat Williams' Absolutes of Success book series featuring The Navigator of Life, The Mature 64, Living Life 8x8, Management and Leadership by the 3 Ps, The Affordability Factor, The 4 Cs of Change, Embracing Your Real Life, and the Absolutes of Success series workbook, Maximizing Your Greatest Potential to Achieve Your Personal Best. All books available at drnatwilliams.com or amazon.com.
The Banana Factory is Lehigh Valley's premier community cultural arts center, promoting and sharing visual arts with everyone. This outreach educational center features a clay studio where students learn the art of ceramics with some of the region's most renowned artists. The Lehigh Valley's only hot glass studio, promoting the art of glass blowing and the glass-making process. The Olympus Digital Imaging Center, where students learn the art of digital photography and much more. Come experience the world of art at the Banana Factory. Call 610-332-1300.
Enrich your life at Sacred Heart Villa, situated atop Mount St. Michael on 40-plus scenic acres. Our caring staff includes missionary sisters and on-site licensed nurses 24/7. We offer medical reminders as well as dispensing medication and transportation to medical appointments. With excellent food, fun events, a spacious hall, safe rooms, and much more, your life will be enriched. Call 610-929-5751 or go to sacredheartvilla-readingpa.org.
Well, welcome back to the Navigating Your Life show. Now joining us in studio is Jim Perkin, who is a licensed psychologist. So welcome, Jim.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. So tell us what kind of work you do in your offices in Allentown and Bethlehem primarily.
Well, I do a variety of work as a psychologist, but I definitely do couples therapy and marital therapy.
Mm-hmm. And where do you see codependency showing up in the couple and the marital therapy work that you do?
Well, the term I a lot of times look at is that whenever you have an unequal relationship, I think for relationships to be satisfactory, there has to be an equal and a fairness, a combination of give and take. People enter into relationships for many reasons, and of course we need relationships. I think we live in a couple type world, but sometimes people enter into relationships for distorted reasons, and I always say you should value a relationship. They're important and needed, but sometimes relationships become overvalued, and then I think people get more obsessed with the relationship.
Wow. And what are some of the things that you, as you guide people through trying to figure out this landscape and to make better sense of it, what are some of the kinds of things that you give them advice on, things that they can do to try to unravel this situation?
Well, I'm always very practical when I try to work with couples. I want them to identify the problems. Everyone goes into a relationship with different needs, but I think people get frustrated when their needs aren't being met, and they get into what I call a tug of war. They feel you're not meeting my needs, so I'm not going to turn around and meet your needs in return. So what I'm really trying to get them to do is to identify, excuse me, what the problem is, try to get both of them to say their point of view, determine where the differences are, determine where the similarities are, and then to learn negotiation techniques.
Wouldn't you agree that in a normal relationship, trying to figure that stuff out is really somewhat of a challenge, but I guess when you add in an addiction, trying to figure out equality could even be more of a challenge.
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, I think,
please,
I think people enter into relationships, once again, for many reasons, and I think with an addictive personality, they're probably looking for a certain type of partner or mate. And probably there's where a lot of the unequalness comes in, that they might be looking for someone who would be dependent.
Wow. So right from the gate, they're not looking for equality, that most likely they've cased the landscape and they understand there's a certain kind of personality that would be willing to continue that experience with them. Wow.
Well, I think there's exceptions to every rule,
Sure.
but typically an addictive personality is a self-centered, narcissistic type person. So that type of person really probably wouldn't look for an equal type relationship. So in a lot of ways, people become walking advertisements. I mean, I think probably, they want someone who's probably have a lower level of self-esteem.
Wow. And what are some of the solutions to this challenge? What do you tell people as a way to figure out where they go? What are some of the things that you suggest to them?
Well, I'm certainly trying to point out that if their relationship's not working, they're both probably suffering. But I really try to get them to try to think in terms of solution orientation. In other words, how to kind of identify the problem, try to figure out each other's point of view, and to really work out different techniques about, I guess with any type of couples counseling, communication would be the key word.
Right. Wow. And what do you think are some of the barriers in a codependent relationship to communication? I would believe that communication is like sunlight, and sometimes that's like the last thing you want to have in a codependent relationship. So I think that may be a reason why communication is a challenge, but this is your expertise, so I'll let you elaborate.
Well, I think it's all patterns. People get into very faulty patterns of communication. It's very interesting in couples counseling. Of course, I'm always bringing up the word communications, but I get negative reactions sometimes. I mean, every situation is different. But what sometimes partners are hearing is that we have to communicate, meaning we have to fight. I wouldn't want to communicate if it was going to lead to a conflict. So I always try to point out that there are many ways to communicate. Probably many of them are wrong, but if you find a way, through a balance of give and take, treating each other equal and fair, then maybe you could walk away feeling closer. So I try to kind of give that image of, that you don't want to communicate and walk away feeling worse. You want to communicate feeling closer.
Wow. And the statistics or any stories that you'd like to share with our viewers of how this has been able to go from a challenge to something that's been successful or vice versa, so please share.
Well, I really don't know statistics. I mean, I certainly would say I have successes and failures.
Sure.
I think a lot of it just has to do with the dynamics of a particular relationship. But I'm really trying to recognize that people come in, really one of the things I want to do is figure out even why they're coming in. Are they coming in both on an equal level? I always try to say I'm never looking to figure out who the bad guy is. I think that would be a bad use of therapy. So I don't look at either partner as being defective, but I realize they may be doing things that each other is looking as being defective in the relationship.
Wow, wow. So what do you see as the light at the end of the tunnel for individuals that have this as a challenge? What are the words of encouragement that you try to leave them with?
Well, I think, you look at certain areas like self-esteem. Trying to get them to raise their level of self-esteem, take stock and inventory in their self, to really find things that they can like about themselves. Learn assertiveness techniques. I think a lot of times in a codependent relationship, you either get passive or you switch over to aggressive, but trying to learn how to assertively voice your opinion in a way that can, of course, be productive.
Wow. We're getting ready to wrap up. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers before we end our segment?
No, not really. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for the work you do. I'm sure it really means a lot to the people that are coming in your office for help.
Thank you very much.
Good. Thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Thank you, Jim. We're going to take a quick break now, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up today's show, so please come back with us after this break.
At Bridge to Creative Learning and Child Care Center, your child will learn and play the creative way in a safe and secure environment. We offer a fun and caring educational-based atmosphere and allow parents to monitor their child's activities. We are a state-licensed childcare center offering academic preparation, after-school programs, creative learning, summer activities, and much more. Call us at 610-351-7400. Prepare your child for a brighter future.
Tired of cold impersonal shopping?
I want it, I need it, and I'm gonna have it.
Spring into the warm shopping experience of downtown Stroudsburg. Delight in the charms of our various shops and unique boutiques. Enjoy our fabulous restaurants offering tastes from around the world. For a great cultural experience, visit a fine art gallery or a show at our historic theater. Shop downtown Stroudsburg and spring back to life.
Juwan and Tyreek. Juwan 12 is known for his charismatic personality, a little comedian. He loves to make people laugh. Juwan gets along well with most people and is popular with his peers. His favorite activities include playing drums, video games, drawing, and basketball. Juwan struggles with what he perceives as stigma of being a foster child at his school. Tyreek, 9, is friendly and enjoys a lot of attention and affection. He loves sports, especially football, basketball, and baseball. Enrolled in the 3rd grade, he strives to be a good student and does well when praised for his efforts. The siblings are very close and dream of being adopted by the same family so they can grow together. For adoption information, please access the National Adoption Center's website at adopt.org. For further specific information on Juwan and Tyreek, please contact A. Cressman at adopt.org.
When caring about someone becomes caring for someone, there's help at your beck and call. For over 12 years, Beck and Calls in-home caregivers have been providing assistance with the activities of daily living, everything from mealtime to bathing, or just being there when you can't be. Being at home is important to them. Give them flexible assisted living services that come right to the door. Gain peace of mind. Call Beck and Call today at 570-426-7507. We look forward to your family becoming part of ours.
Well, we hope today's show on codependency has been enlightening, encouraging, and empowering for you. Codependency can affect anyone. It is a learned emotional and behavioral condition that can make a relationship with loved ones destructive and/or abusive. We hope the information shared with you today has helped you to better understand this behavior, ways to uncover the warning signs, and to seek treatment for anyone you may suspect is falling victim to codependency. As we wrap up today's show, we want to let you know we're looking forward to having you join us next week when we will be discussing resolutions 6 months later. Till then, be well. Thanks for watching.
A list of resources related to today's show is available on our website, which is navigatingyourlifeshow.com. On this site, there is a connection to our Facebook and Twitter pages and to our blog. While you are there, you can also email your comments on today's show or share ideas for future shows.